So one question is, why forgive? It frees you up to be active. Lack of forgiveness leads to anger, hate, or the other direction, depression and misery, none of which serve you ever in any situation. That this whole idea of patriarchy, patriarchs, this is history. Just take a history book and say patriarchy. It's every history book. It's how we are. I mean, I have this trouble with Israel that is not forgiving Hitler and the Germans by hurting the Palestinians, because they can't go back and hurt Germans. And of course, they have the power, so they actually can totally understand Hitler when they hate a Palestinian. Okay, so where do we see patriarchy? We can see it first in our fathers treating a daughter differently than a son, just ogling the son and loving it so much for being good in sports and getting good grades, and when the daughter does it, it's cute. So there's that patriarchy, and beating, and then even touching, raping. That's a kind of patriarchy. Then there's the patriarchy at school, and how the boys in class are treated differently than the girls in class are treated, and the principal, if it is a male, and the patriarchies at work, the patriarchies in the military. The human society has mostly been patriarchal. I think not forgiving is one of the tricks patriarchy has to keep patriarchy on top. Because if you're thinking patriarchy, I'm going to shut it down, then they know you're actually on the full frontal not going to be able to shut them down. We're not going to be able to shut down patriarchy with a fist, with violence, with anger. We're going to be able to stop it by being so loving you can't do it. I think that's why the vet trips have worked on the suicidal vets. I think that you can experiment with matriarchy, because if we compare a typical healthy mother with a typical patriarchal father, who does the child run to when the child is beaten? The mother. And a lot of times it'll be a silent comforting through hugging and holding and maybe singing or humming. Maybe it'll be going for a walk and doing all of the things mothers have done in history. So maybe forgiving is being a healthy mother, who is the person who first has to help the child learn. So if you learn vengeance from your mother, or from a lack of learning from your mother, then you will not be forgiving. So it is its own trap. All of these patriarchal gestures. The newspaper is patriarchal. Almost everything that isn't resistance is patriarchal. And it's in the way the policeman that pulls your car over when it's speeding, just them walking there, hand on the pistol, all that's patriarchy. What if, when the policeman got out of their car, they took their gun off to show you that they're not bringing top doggery? Maybe, so the question with whatever is done that then responds with forgiveness is, what is a reaction to the thing that would normally cause not forgiving. What is that reaction of not forgiving? How can it be replaced by a thing, we'll call it forgiving, that can change the situation? Where not forgiving is immediate response. Billy hits you on the playground, you hit Billy back. So you can sit there and think, well, I could have said, thank you for hitting me, Billy. It makes me want to listen to you better the next time we argue. So where there is forgiveness, maybe the point is not to say, I forgive you, but to think of the performance that will soften the next time that needs a performance of forgiveness. And I think I've seen that all my life, that if you do a violent gesture, a violent word, and that your response to it is not forgiving, but yelling back and being violent, then when the violent person tells that story, the fact that the person was violent back will almost reinforce that they were violent. And so you actually, if forgiveness could be summed up as simply the name for all of the thoughtful gestures and intelligences used to transform violent words and gestures, patriarchy, bossing, hierarchy, all the same, that forgiveness is simply the name for all of the intelligence putting to try to stop it and change it.